In problem 11.3, we are asked to consider a tennis ball that is dropped from a certain height and then bounces along the ground a few times until it just rolls and stops. And they tell us that function h gives the height of the tennis ball over time. Or in other words, our input is time, and our output is the height of the tennis ball. And we can see that here on our graph as well. Input is time, measured in seconds. Output is height, measured in feet. So we're going to use this graph to answer a few questions. First, we want to find h of 0. Now remember, that right there, that 0 is our input. So that is a time. So in other words, we want to find what is the height after 0 seconds. Well, I can look at the graph, and when 0 seconds have passed, the height of the tennis ball is right there. It is 6 feet. Now, if I want to be a little fancy, I could write this as h of 0 equals 6. The next problem now asks us to solve h of x equals 0. Well, in this problem now, that's our output. And we want to find what is our input. What does x equal? That's the question. Well, I can look at the graph again, and now I want to find when is the height 0. Well, the height's 0 right there, which is looking like it's about 0.5. I'm going to estimate that is about 0.55. And there's a couple other places, though. Right here, which I think is about 1.45. Right here, which looks like about 2.25. And right here, which looks like it's maybe about 3.02, 3.03, somewhere in there. Oh, and there's one more. That looks like it's about 3.8. So the height is equal to 0 at all of those times there. Now, if the tennis ball rolls, then we also have technically all of this. Those are all times when the height of the tennis ball is 0. So you might want to include that as well, that it's 3.8, or maybe you even want to, instead of this, put any time where x is greater than 3.8. Next part up, describe the domain of the function. Remember, domain is always your inputs. And in this case, input is time. So if we consider that the ball is dropped and then bounces, bounce, and then it rolls for a little bit and then stops, they don't tell us exactly when it stops, so I'm going to assume that it stops at the end of the graph, which means my domain is going to be that it can be any time from 0 to 4 seconds. And our range, remember this is our outputs. In this case, I want to see what's the lowest output I have and what's the highest output I have. So the lowest height I can possibly ever have is 0 feet. That's when it's on the ground. And the highest the tennis ball ever gets is up to 6 feet. So my range is any height from 0 to 6 feet. And now we've kind of gotten all of the info they're asking for from this graph.